Shalom. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who does rule and lead well. Salutations and shalom to Akim pushing out this word in sincerity and in truth throughout the four corners of the earth. And sincere shalom to Akim and Aqua for listening and learning, preparing yourselves here in these last days. This is the Brother Quar from the DC camp. Come back at you with another lesson, and I'm entitled this one, A Night to Be Much Observed. All right, here we are. We are in, the Passover week, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread, really, when you go into the scriptures. But they, happen pretty much in sequence, man. And it is a night to be much observed, letting you know how serious, this week, or how important this time period is, for Israel, that the Lord gave us, as a commandment, and how serious it should we should take it. It is the first month of the year, and it is a high holy day. One of the most important, or the most important high holy day that we have. Okay. Now, like I said, you got the Passover and you got the Feast of Unleavened Bread that happens, and the symbolism that we have from the time that we left when we was actually in Egypt to, Yahweh Shai's Passover, it's all symbolic to what we have now. Lord's will, this lesson be short, or rather quick, but a heavy lesson indeed. So let me start at I'm gonna go straight to Exodus, the 12th chapter. All right, give me 1 second. All right, this is Exodus 12 in verse. Let me see where I want to start. Man, I'm gonna just start at the top. All right, this is Exodus 12 verse 1. It says, "And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you." So it's the first month of the year, man. It says, "Speak ye unto," how these people got New Year resolutions and things like that, man. Well, this is a time that we are able to, examine ourselves. It says, "Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, In the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their families. Of their fathers, a lamb for an house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of souls, every man according to the eating. Unto his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out of the sheep or from the goats." So obviously, in this time, this day and age, we are unable to, get a sheep. For majority of us are unable to get a sheep, of a year, or a lamb, I should say, of that age and at that time period. So we just rehearsing the righteous acts, man, but we still doing it. It's about like the elder of our camp, the Elder Kasap, one of our elders. He said, you got the service and then you got the spirit of the Passover. What spirit you should be in? Like the scriptures say, what manner of persons ought ye to be in? In all holy conversation. And you got to have the spirit, the being born of the spirit, using that mindset, man. Mindset is very, very important in this thing. It says, verse 6, it says, it says the male of the first year. Yeah, verse 6, "And ye shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening." All right. It says, "And they shall take the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs shall they eat it. So we supposed to eat the Passover with bitter herbs, the lamb with bitter herbs, to remind us of the affliction that we endured. Matter of fact, you go to Deuteronomy the 16th chapter, it talks about eating the unleavened bread therewith with the bread, and they called it the unleavened bread, the bread of affliction, man. You know. So let me go back. And the bitterness, you know, even America, which is the new Egypt, goes back into bitter. You know, and that captivity that we was in Egypt was bitter, just like this one is bitter, man. You know, so you remembering where we came from, you know, or how far we came. It says, still, yeah, verse 9. It says, eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head with his with his legs, and with the pertinence thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. So nothing should be left. It says, and thus shall ye eat, and just like the new Passover, it's the Yahweh shall say, eat all of it, man. It says, and thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and ye shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover. And there was a reason that they had to eat it in haste, because the Lord was preparing a sacrifice, and then that was they was about to get up out of there, man. So they had to keep their shoes on, you know, keep their staff. They had to be ready, man. You know, it says, and that's the Lord's Passover. There was a sacrifice. Let me look that word Pesach. I know the word Passover is Pesach. Yeah, it says sacrifice of Passover, animal victim of the Passover. You know, so this is talking about the actual sacrifice, right? It says, verse 12, and it's going to give you the point. It says, for I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh, right? It says, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you. And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. So right there, he said, when I pass over you. That's that word again is Pesach, or to pass over. You know, and it says to skip, pass over. Because all it said, no house they're not you know, someone dead. In all the houses of the Egyptians, he passed over the Israelites, man. You know, we was exempt from judgment. So another, it was a damn, what's that other one? Well, I find it. You know, but that shows that exemption. Come on, now it's not clicking. Give me 1 second. Like my phone froze or something. Okay. All right. It's not letting me do it. It's all good. I'm gonna keep going. Yeah. So just showing you, it's a solemn observance, man. A memorial. Let's see. Pretty much the Lord, he instructed the Israelites. That's why it's much to be observed. I should actually look that word up, but I want to wait till I get to that scripture. You know, but he instructed the Israelites to make, or us to make to make special preparations, man, that would allow us to escape that first plague of death. You know, of the firstborn. Now, had you not hearkened into these instructions, then you would have had a death. You know. Let me go back. It says, verse 13, I'll read that again. It says, and the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And look, we don't want the death of the heathens, man. So we hearken into the death of the Egyptians. So we hearken into the spirit of the Lord, man. It says, and this day shall be unto you for a memorial. Let's look up that word. It says memorial, reminder, or remembrance, right? It says, and ye shall keep it a feast to Yahweh throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. You know, so this was a something that was pretty much, it's a statute. You know, something that was prescribed to us, man, and we got to do that forever. It's an edict, a religious rite. It says 7 days. Now you're going to get to the part of the unleavened bread. It says 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, thou shalt be cut off from Israel. And so that's how important it is, man. Even now, we do that deep examination, you know, of our homes. You know, these things. This is, you know, you gotta be careful in examining certain things, man. Now we know that this Passover, or the Passovers that we have now, I'll read it real quick. This is 1 Corinthians 11:23. It says, for I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, which is this gospel, this truth, the Holy Spirit. It says that the Lord Yahweh Shai, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. Yahweh Shai kept saying, do it in remembrance of me. So when you go into that word observance and remembrance, it's the same thing. It's just back then, there was a more of the, we being redeemed, or we being exempt from that first death. You know, and that's what the slaying of Yahweh Shai was. Now we're being exempt from death. But guess what? There was instructions after that you need to follow to be what? What's the word I'm trying to look for? Delivered from bondage. So you get a deliverance from death, exemption from death, and then you need to be delivered from that bondage. So we was in bondage of Egypt, you know, captivity, but now we're in bondage. We're still in bondage, but it's bondage to sin. All right. So we got to follow the instructions so that we are no longer in bondage to sin. So that's the significance between the first Passover and then the Yahweh Shai's Passover, you know, which he held as the Last Supper, you know. So let me go back. It says, it says, whoever shall eat of that unleavened bread shall be cut off from Israel, man. It says, and in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you. Now let me look up that word convocation, because this is letting you know it's a solemn assembly, man. Convocation, convoking, reading, a calling together, convocation, sacred assembly, right? This is why when you keep reading in the chapter further along, you know, no heathen should eat of the Passover. You know, it's a sacred assembly, man. Let me get that. A holy convocation, right? Or it just says the action of calling people together for a formal assembly. All right. A holy, you know, this just means sacred. All right. And let me keep going. Where am I at? Okay. verse 17, it says, and ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in the selfsame day have I brought you your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. All right. And something that you observe is the same word as to celebrate, meaning you watch, to keep watch for it. Observe. It says to keep retained treasure up in memory. What else? Yeah, that's what I wanted right there. It says, no, that was the word observe, and I got ordinance. Yeah, ordinance is just something prescribed again. All right, so let me keep going. It says, verse 18, in the first month of the 14th day, the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 1 and 20th day of the month. So the 21st day at even. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether be a stranger or born in the land. That's how serious it is, man. It says, ye shall eat nothing leavened, in all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take your lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. And Yahushua was our Passover. Let me go back to Leviticus. I mean, not Leviticus. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 23. I'll read again. For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner also he took the cup which he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. So that's what we doing. That's what that blood represented, right? There was something else. Right. Salaki. I wanted 1 Corinthians 5 right there. 1 Corinthians 5, verse 7. It says, purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened. For even Hamashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. All right. So Yahushua is our Passover. So it said kill the Passover, and he was actually killed that same day. I'm trying to find, because we're talking about, damn, I guess I didn't write it. Damn, I thought I had it. Salakia. Because it talks about, damn, I can't believe I didn't write it. I know it's in Corinthians. Give me 1 second. Yes. So it was 1 Corinthians 5. I just didn't write the next verse. All right, verse 8, it says, therefore let us keep the feast not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and in truth. And this is why, even during the salute, we give salutations, shalom to you brothers that's pushing this word in sincerity and in truth. They're the four corners of the word of the earth, man. Because, hey, that's just following the spirit, man. Not with that old leaven of malice and wickedness. That's what we really need to be cleaning out. Matter of fact, there's another thing I just thought of. If I can find it. That's not it. It's all good. I don't want to hold this lesson up. Let me keep going. All right, back to Exodus 12. All right, I'm going to start it. 19 again. It says, 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation, whether it be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened, in all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover. And ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin, and none of you shall go out that door of his house until the morning. For Yahweh will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel on the two sides, Yahweh will pass over the door and will not suffer the Lord, the destroyer, to come into your houses and smite you. You know, and hey, that we want to be passed over in this time. It says, and ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever. And it shall come to pass when ye become to the land which Yahweh will give you, according as he hath promised, that ye shall keep this service. And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of Yahweh's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the head to worship. And we're supposed to teach our children's, you know, this is part of ordering your house right, these ordinances, man. You know, this was something that was supposed to be passed down, man. Now we just coming back into the spirit. Like I said, we rehearsing the righteous acts, you know. But it starts with us, you know, the men. It says, verse 28, and the children of Israel went away and did as Yahweh had commanded. And Salah has commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. I'm gonna read a little fast to get to the point. I want to get to the verse 40. Let me see if I even need those. I'm gonna just skip down. You know, I will read the whole chapter, you know, because then we spoiled them, you know. You're about 1 million Jakes, man. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start at 39. This is Exodus 12, verse 39. It says, and they baked unleavened cakes of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry, neither had they prepared for themselves any victuals. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. And it came to pass, that's how long we was in Egypt. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the hosts of Yahweh went out from the land of Egypt. So that day, did the Lord wants you to remember that day, man. And that shows you how that it was actually supernatural being, man. Not just, you got all the plagues. Obviously, if that wasn't enough, it was the exactly 430 days, which he told that we was going to be in that land. That same day we was delivered, man. If that ain't the spirit, I don't know what it was. Even when you seen Pharaoh's heart was hardened like that, man. So this was pretty much showed that the Lord it showed his power, man. You know? So memorable was the destruction of the Egyptians and the deliverance of the Israelites, you know, by it. You know, but the Most High also made himself taken notice of, man. You know? Because today you got people talking about, I want to know if God is real. Like, I wonder if he is real, man. This is why these things are supposed to be taught down, passed down. Verse 42, which is the point, it says, it is a night to be much observed. This is the only time you read that in the scriptures, man. You know, a night to be much observed. The word is Shamarayim. No, Shamarium. That's what it is. Salakia. Shamarium. All right. It says night watch, watching or vigil. It made me think of you night watch. You know what I mean? You staying up. You watching, man. That's like keeping. That's what observed, right? But this is the only time it's written like this. Much observed. And then when you go into a vigil, it says a period of keeping awake during the time usually spent asleep especially to keep watch or pray. It says the eve of a festival or holy day as an occasion of a religious observance. You know, to be much observed, shamarium. All right. And it says, it is a night to be much observed unto Yahweh for bringing them out from the land of Egypt. This is that night Yahweh. This is that night of Yahweh to be observed of all the children of Israel and their generations. You see? So this is a very, very serious time. You know? You know, so the first Passover night was a night to be much observed. It was a night of the Lord to be much observed. But the last Passover, which they would, they call it the Last Supper, the Passover Yahweh Shai, that was when he was betrayed, man. And the scriptures talk about eating of the Passover unworthily. In which, it pretty much superseded it. It's to be much more observed, if you will, because a heavier yoke than that which was of Egypt, which was that physical bondage, was broken off of our necks, man. And a land that was better than the land of Canaan is set before us. Even though it's the same, it's gonna be the same, but the kingdom of heaven, man. Because that was a temporal deliverance to be celebrated, but now this is eternal redemption that we're going to be celebrated, man. World without end, man. Eternally. The Most High intended this event to be a memorial for his redemptive work. Like you said, it's a night of observations, man. Many things is to be observed, man. It's a lot of different things, man. All to honor the Lord, man. The things that he's done for us, man. What else do I want? So the Passover, it pretty much reminds us, man, that the Most High, his love towards us, man. So this is Romans 5, verse 8. It says, but the Most High commended his love towards us in that while we were yet sinners, Hamashiach died for us. Much more then, being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him. Just like we were saved, through the blood, putting the blood on the doorpost, which represents our minds, right? We're going to be saved through his blood and from that wrath through Yahweh Shai's blood, man. It's the same thing. Okay? And like we said, this is a solemn assembly. You read that in Deuteronomy 16. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick because it mentions the same thing, in quicker detail. Deuteronomy 16, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. It's verse 8. It says, 6 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly. Now, it said it twice. It was probably right. Same thing. Holy convocation, solemn assembly. I wanted to look up that word solemn. So I'll read it again. It says, 6 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein. Now, when you go into that word solemn, it says assembly, solemn assembly, sacred or festive meeting, assemblage, company, or group. All right. Now I want to look up that word solemn, and it says formal or dignified, characterized by deep sincerity, dignified or serious. All right. So just showing you how serious this this time period that we are in, You know, especially in the times that we in now, man. You know, the Lord is about to do a great work again. You know, and we want to be saved out of that. So I'm going to close on this one. This is Isaiah 30. What is it? It's Isaiah 31 in verse. I'm going to start at the top. It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because there are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. You had some of our people wanting to go back into Egypt, man, because they wanted some food. You know, it says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil, excuse me, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall together, and they shall fail together. Yeah, so Egypt gonna fall regardless. Any of you that wants to be hand in hand with them, you're gonna be thrust through as well. All right, like I said, you ain't follow them instructions, then that destroyer gonna destroy you, man. And all the land, specifically talking about this land, Egypt, the new Egypt. All right, you're gonna be destroyed, man. It's either you're gonna get delivered out of this place or you're gonna get destroyed. All right. It says, damn. Oh yeah, verse 4. It says, for thus saith Yahweh spoken unto me. For thus hath Yahweh spoken unto me. Like as the lion and the young lion roaring on his prey, when a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall Yahweh of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion and for the hill thereof. Here's the point. As birds flying, so will Yahweh of hosts to defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. And ultimately, that passing over is the same word, pasak. And we want to be preserved, man. You know? To be delivered. That's what it means. To save our lives. Okay? So that's what we're looking for, man. And this is why we carefully observing these days. You know? Like we said, we stand upon our watch and we'll wait to see what he was answer us, man. All right? We watching, you know, constantly watching. You know, much more in these times now, especially with things popping off. So, you know, Lord willing, that was an edifying lesson. Till the next one, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Kadash. I want to say, till the next one, Shalom.